What is going on, you guys? Brandon here, aka Brawadis. My voice feels lost. Let me just tell you, yesterday I made a video for my main channel and then I made 3 videos for my NBA channel. So I made 4 total videos yesterday and I was planning on making 8. I woke up and I was like, all right, let's get it. I'm making 8 videos today. You know, let's start. The grind is real. I'm not gonna leave my room. I'm not gonna do anything today, just make videos. After my 4th video, let me just tell you, I was literally like this. I died. I was dead after 4 videos, and I looked at the time. It was almost, I don't know, midnight. It was 11 p.m. and I was like, shit, I really thought that I could make 8 videos today, and I just fell asleep. I knocked out. So I woke up early this morning so I could film the ones that I planned on doing yesterday. Let me just tell you, making 8 videos in one day might not be possible, and if it is possible, then I don't know, you're not human. But I definitely failed. I couldn't do it. I tried my best. I did 4 videos. I hope you enjoyed the 4 videos that I put out. Anyways, back to this video. Today I am doing my prediction on the Toronto Raptors versus the Milwaukee Bucks. This is the 3-6 matchup in the Eastern Conference, and let me tell you, a lot of people are kind of just letting this matchup go. They're not really talking about it. Everyone's talking about, you know, Houston and OKC or Cleveland and Indiana. I like this matchup. I'm gonna have a lot of fun watching the Toronto Raptors versus the Milwaukee Bucks. These are 2 teams that I kind of feel like they match up well against each other. You have Toronto, when healthy, is one of the best teams in the East, obviously. They have 2 All-Stars in Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. They have a solid bench with Corey Joseph, Norman Powell, obviously, now PJ Tucker. And I like the acquisitions of PJ Tucker and Serge Ibaka. Those were 2 pickups that I think they didn't have to give too much for. For PJ Tucker, they pretty much got for free because my Phoenix Suns were obviously tanking the season, so they gave him up for free. And then they got Serge Ibaka for T. Ross. It's not a bad haul for what they gave up. And I think it's shown in the later half of the season that those 2 pieces, PJ Tucker and Serge Ibaka, are very, very important to the Toronto Raptors' success. As you saw, the second they traded for them, right when they traded for them, they were playing crunch time minutes. You had PJ Tucker and Serge Ibaka playing in the 4th quarter of close games. They were playing in overtimes. And, you know, usually when you trade for pieces, it takes them a little while to get acclimated to the team. Tucker and Ibaka fit right in. Those are 2 perfect fits, and I think they're going to prove to be extremely important pieces if the Toronto Raptors want to go far in this year's playoffs. Now let's look at the other side of things. The Milwaukee Bucks, you have a young team with pretty much only one name that everybody talks about, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has had an amazing season, and finally he went from, you know, someone that maybe half the people who watch the NBA know to, in a couple months, he established himself as, oh, that's Greek Freak, that's the alphabet, that's Giannis, I know him. He made a name for himself. He has turned heads around the league, not just from players and coaches. He has turned heads from fans watching. He is a player. The dude could ball, he could rebound, he could score, he could pass, he could defend, he could protect the rim, he could do it all. And I think that when people think Milwaukee Bucks, he is the face of their franchise. He is that cornerstone. He is the player that everybody, oh, I know Milwaukee, yeah, they have Giannis. But it's deeper than that. Milwaukee is not a bad team. Honestly, the injury to Jabari Parker is going to hurt. I'm not going to lie. Jabari was having an amazing season. He was having a great season. Maybe he would have been up there for most improved with Giannis, because obviously Giannis is going to win most improved player of the year. But Jabari was, I think that injury is going to hurt them, obviously. But they've kind of gotten used to playing without him. He was hurt last year, and he's been out for a while now. It's not like the injury just happened. But anyways, let's look at, they have Greg Monroe, who is, okay, let's not sugarcoat it. He doesn't play any defense. If you're relying on Greg Monroe to protect the rim or play D, then you're wrong. But he could score. If you're relying on him for offense, he's your guy. He could score. He could shoot free throws, which is rare for a big man these days. You could dump the ball in the post, and he has some little nice post moves. So they have their big, Greg Monroe. They also have, who I think is going to be up there in Rookie of the Year voting. I don't know if he's going to win it, because this year's Rookie of the Year voting is actually so close and so hard to decide. But he's going to be up there. Malcolm Brogdon. He is a good player. They got him in the 2nd round, and he has been a surprise. Maybe one of the biggest draft steals this year. I think the biggest draft steal is Tyler Ulis. All bias aside, he is a second round pick, whatever. I'm getting too far into it. But Malcolm Brogdon was a draft steal as well. So I like him. And then they got Chris Middleton back. So I think he's huge. Chris Middleton is more underrated. Nobody really talks about him. Some people know him as a three-point shooter, but he's a little more than that. He could score the ball from the mid-range. He could take it in. He could shoot. He could defend pretty well. And I think that after Jabari got hurt, Chris Middleton kind of showed how important he was, because he came back a couple weeks after and they really used him. And so now the matchup side of things, you have one team in Milwaukee who, they don't really shoot the ball. They don't really have shooters. They're more so, you know, long, athletic, defensive-minded players. They'd rather attack the rim, you know, dump the ball in the post, take the ball to the hole, and score that way. Then you have Toronto, who is, I mean, Lowry, obviously, three-point contest. He's been one of the better three-point shooters this season. DeMar DeRozan, who is mid-range. He doesn't like to drive it in too much. He doesn't like to shoot the three. He is a mid-range specialist, probably the best mid-range player in the game today. You have some three-point shooters on that team. DeMar Carroll could shoot. PJ Tucker could hit the corner ball. Serge Ibaka could stretch the floor out to the three-point line. Even Norman Powell could put up some threes. So you have kind of two opposite teams, and I love when opposite teams go at it with each other. This is going to be a fun series, and it's going to be funner than what people are making it out to be. Like I said earlier, no one's really talking about it, but I'm excited to watch this one. For my prediction, look, I like Milwaukee. I like what they're doing there. Like I said, they're very, very young. So if they don't do too much this year, it's not bad. They made it to the playoffs, not even as a lower seed, 7 or 8. They made it as a 6 seed, and that's not a bad thing. That's something to build on, but I just don't think right now they have what it takes to beat Toronto. I think, in my opinion, Toronto is one of the better teams in the East, as their record shows it. They were third place, actually tied for a second with Cleveland. And in my opinion, yeah, I know Boston's first place, but I think Toronto actually poses the biggest threat to the Cleveland Cavaliers in this year's playoffs. I really, really like the additions of PJ Tucker and Serge Ibaka. Like I said, I think they fit that team perfectly. There's just not many players that you go out and trade for and they come right in and, oh wow, there's a perfect fit. Usually it takes some time, but these two players, they just came in and you're like, wow, these are Toronto Raptors players. These are players who this organization loves. And especially PJ Tucker, I can't wait to watch him in the playoffs, because I feel like his game is built for playoff basketball. He does all the little things that don't show up in the stat sheet. If you just look at stats, you're going to see Tucker only scores like 6 or 7 points a game, maybe 5 or 6 rebounds. That's nothing. But if you actually watch him play, oh my God, this dude, non-stop defense. He never stops defending. No matter which player he has to switch on, no matter which player he has to guard, he's just all defense, all defense, all defense. Let's say a ball is rolling all the way to the other side of the court and he has no chance of saving it. He'll still run his fastest and throw his body on the floor and dive for the ball, even though he knows there's no chance of getting it. He's all hustle, all defense. It's all grit and grind, and I feel like that's the type of player you need in the playoffs. He reminds me of like a Shane Battier or Bruce Bowen, where for them, if you just look at the stat sheet, they don't do too much, but if you watch the games, they're giving it their all, and I think that's huge. Now Serge Ibaka, on the other hand, he's just a fucking talented player. He could play, he could score, he fits the Raptors perfectly. They were trying to get him for a couple years and they finally got him. So I like Toronto. I like this Toronto team, and I feel like they're gonna take down Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee will put up a fight because of Giannis. Oh, let me just say, I said a lot of people know Giannis Antetokounmpo now. Just wait till after this playoff series. I feel like Giannis is going to be unfazed by the pressure. Some young players, you know, they'll have a really good regular season, but in the playoffs, they kind of shy under the light. They're kind of nervous and pressure. I think Giannis is different. I think he's built for this, and I think he's going to go off. I think, honestly, he's going to average almost a triple-double in this year's playoff series, and he's going to turn some heads. You think he's been turning heads so far? I think he's going to turn a lot more heads and just have the whole world buzzing about him. But unfortunately, the playoffs are not a one-man game. One man can't, you know, win you a playoff series unless you're fucking LeBron James. It's a team sport, and I just think the Toronto Raptors have a much better team than the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to go Raptors in 6. No, I want to say Raptors in 5, but I feel like Giannis is really going to be able to take over a few games. So I'll go Raptors in 6. Toronto in 6. I feel like Milwaukee's going to put up a really good fight. Like I said, they match up really well. But at the end of the day, I think Toronto's going to take it. I do like both teams. Don't get me wrong. Milwaukee, me picking them to be out in the first round is not a knock against them. I just think Toronto is a really good team and well balanced. And like I said, those 2 acquisitions mean a lot to them. So Toronto in 6 is my final answer. I know Toronto has had some really good teams in the past. They've been in the playoffs for a while now, year in and year out. But I actually believe that this is the best Toronto Raptors team that they've had under Dwayne Casey. I think this is the best Raptors team in a while, from top to bottom, depth, and also just the way DeMar DeRozan's been playing this season. He was obviously started the season on a tear. He couldn't keep up with that. Obviously, that would have been historically crazy. But he's obviously been a much improved player. And then just the 2 pickups of Ibaka and Tucker, I think from top to bottom, this is the best Toronto Raptors team that they've had under Dwayne Casey. Like I said, I'm going to try to do a basketball video for every single playoff series. So far, I've done the Cavs and Pacers, the Warriors and Blazers, and Spurs and Memphis. Now I just did the Toronto and Milwaukee one. My voice is gone. I feel dead. The playoffs start tomorrow, so I have to get all my videos done today. If I don't get them done today, then I'll wake up early tomorrow before the playoffs start and get them uploaded before that, because I don't want people to say, oh, you already watched the first game and then you made the video, because that's not true. I'll get them all up before the playoffs start. Don't worry. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, I apologize if I'm not that enthusiastic. Like I said, yesterday I made 4 videos. Today, this is already my 2nd one. And I'm about to go record a video for Brian's channel. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, Brawad Squad. And I appreciate all the love you guys show me. Peace, guys.